Thank you, Chairman Collins and Ranking Member Velasquez and members of the committee. It is really an honor to be here to testify on this subject. I am Donna Baker, CPA. I've been a CPA for 25 years, and I have owned my own accounting firm for the last 13 years. I live and practice in Lenawee County, Michigan, which is a very small rural area. On top of owning my own CPA firm, I also own a small payroll company. I have invested in a retail store, and my husband, Kim, which is also with me here today, is a partner in a family dairy farm. As you've already heard, the business aggregation rules require any group of companies under common control to be treated as a single employer. The primary key in determining which company should be combined is either direct or attributed ownership or affiliated service, but not operational control. These rules may cause unrelated businesses held by family members or trusts to be aggregated. Companies within a control group do not need to have the same management or even be in the same industry. Also, the business aggregation rules are very complicated, as you've heard, and are rarely applicable to small businesses. Therefore, they're unfamiliar to both small businesses and small business advisors. I have had many webinars and training on the ACA rules, and most of the materials will mention that the controlled group rules apply, but do not cover the specific of these rules. And unfortunately, I think many business advisors that deal with just primarily small businesses assume that controlled groups means hands-on control instead of the actual emphasis of direct or attributed ownership. I have two examples of applying these control groups to two businesses. One is my own personal business. Like I said, I own 100% of a very small CPA firm that I also manage, along with the payroll company that I manage. And I have invested in a retail store. However, that is an investment. I do not manage that or operate that on a day-to-day basis. And then, of course, my husband's farm. He is a partner with his brother in the dairy farm. I have no management responsibilities. I do not make decisions for that company, but my name is on some of the land, and I do provide some bookkeeping services. So based on the business aggregation rules, we would have to combine all four of those entities. We are not quite close to 50 employees yet, but close, and the payroll company is new and very quickly growing. My second example is one of my clients. I have an elderly woman that owns 100% of two local restaurants, and her son manages and controls all of the business decisions in those two restaurants. She recently provided the capital for a nephew to open a restaurant in Florida, in which the restaurant in Florida, the nephew manages and makes all the business decisions for that restaurant. Under the current business aggregation rules, those three entities would be combined, and they would exceed the 50 full-time equivalents and require them to provide the minimum essential health insurance benefits. So those two examples illustrate how the control group rules will aggregate businesses that are not directly owned by the same person, they do not have the same management, are not in the same industry, and may not even be in the same state. Therefore, the implications of requiring small businesses to use these aggregation rules could create several negative effects. It could hinder growth and discourage owners from hiring new employees. It can create that environment where the owners try to manipulate their ownership percentages or minimize their employees and keep them within the 30 hours. It could discourage small business owners from investing in other businesses, and it could require them to provide health insurance benefits in industries where it's not typically the norm, and the additional costs could create it difficult for them to compete in those industries. Lastly, I'd like to mention the increased cost of my own plan. I do provide basic health insurance for my people in my accounting firm and my payroll company. This policy has been canceled, and the closest policy, I've been quoted a 40 to 44% increase that would have reduced benefits. It would have higher co-pays and higher maximum out-of-pocket expenses. So these increased costs would be very difficult to absorb. Thank you.